You've rehearsed what you're going to say. Maybe not out loud, but in your head, you've gone over it again and again. You're prepared, you're ready, and then the moment arrives. A meeting, a question, a conversation you didn't expect. You open your mouth, and everything you practiced disappears. Your thoughts scatter, your words feel clumsy, and suddenly you're talking but not saying what you meant. Later, you replay it in your head. You think, that's not what I wanted to say. I sounded nervous. I should have explained it better. And the most frustrating part? You know you're capable. You're not lacking intelligence. You're not unprepared. So why does speaking feel so hard when you don't have a script? Most people believe clarity comes from rehearsal. They think, if I just practice more, if I memorize the right words, if I plan every sentence, then I'll sound confident. But here's what rarely gets said. Over-rehearsing can actually make communication worse because life doesn't speak in scripts. Imagine this. You're having coffee with someone you trust, a friend, a sibling, someone who knows you. They ask you a question. You don't rehearse, you don't plan your words, and yet you're clear. You speak naturally, you explain yourself well, you don't ramble. Nothing was prepared, but everything made sense. So what changed? The problem isn't that you don't know what to say. The problem is pressure. When a moment feels important, we stop thinking clearly. We try to say everything at once to avoid being misunderstood, to sound competent, to protect ourselves from judgment. And that's when clarity disappears. Not because you're unprepared, but because you're trying to control too much. Scripts work in controlled environments. But real conversations are unpredictable. People interrupt, they ask unexpected questions, they respond emotionally, and when your mind is focused on, what was I supposed to say next? You lose connection with what actually matters right now. That's when you sound stiff, or start rambling, or freeze entirely. Clear communicators don't memorize sentences. They anchor themselves to meaning. They know what they want to say, why it matters, and what the other person needs to hear. Everything else is flexible. They don't carry a script, they carry direction. Here's the shift that changes everything. You don't need the right words, you need the right point. Clarity isn't about wording, it's about intention. You're asked, what do you think about this idea? Immediately, your mind starts preparing paragraphs. You want to cover every angle. You want to be accurate. You want to avoid mistakes. So you talk and talk and talk. But imagine a different approach. This time, you pause. Just 1 second, not to rehearse, but to decide. You ask yourself, what is my main point? Not 3 points, not all the details, just one. Then you speak. Here's a simple rule that removes the need for scripts. 1 point, 1 breath, 1 stop. Before speaking, decide your main point, say it in 1 breath, and stop when the point is made. If more is needed, it can be added later, but clarity comes first. This works because your brain can hold meaning, not memorized sentences. When you focus on what you're trying to say, your words arrange themselves naturally. You sound more human, more grounded, more confident, not rehearsed, but present. Many people over-prepare because they're afraid. Afraid of sounding wrong, afraid of being judged, afraid of not being taken seriously. So they explain more than necessary. But confidence doesn't come from saying everything. It comes from trusting that what you've said is enough. Next time you speak, try this. Before answering, silently say, "I'm allowed to be clear and brief." That one thought slows you down. It reminds you that clarity doesn't need permission. Something interesting happens when you stop scripting. Your shoulders relax, your voice steadies, your thoughts feel lighter. You stop performing and you start communicating. Real confidence isn't sounding perfect. It's being comfortable with pauses, comfortable with simplicity, comfortable with saying less. People don't remember every word you say. They remember how clear things felt. Think about someone you trust, someone who speaks calmly, who doesn't rush, who doesn't over-explain. They don't dominate conversations. They choose their words, and then they let silence do its work. That's not scripting. That's self-trust. You don't need rehearsed scripts to communicate clearly. You need a clear intention, one main point, and the courage to stop when it's said. Clarity is not performance. Clarity is presence. If speaking has ever made you doubt yourself, if you've ever thought, "I know this in my head, but it doesn't come out right," know this: nothing is wrong with you. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to speak from direction, not defense. If this helped you, please like this video. It helps others find it. Share it with someone who over-explains like you do, and subscribe if you want more calm, practical guidance on speaking with clarity and confidence. If you'd like deeper support, you can download my How to Speak with Confidence ebook. The details are in the description. You're not here to perform. You're here to be understood.